Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the life of an extraordinary woman who truly shaped early America. Not just from the sidelines, but as a powerful force in her own right. We're talking about Abigail Adams, a name synonymous with intelligence, activism, and unwavering spirit. You might know her as the wife of the second president, John Adams, but trust me, her story is so much more than just being Mrs. President. Before we jump in, if you love learning about forgotten heroes and hidden histories, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. So, who was Abigail Adams? Born Abigail Smith in 1744 in Weymouth, Massachusetts, she grew up in a time when formal education for girls was practically non-existent. Can you imagine? While boys went off to schools and universities, girls were largely expected to learn domestic skills. But Abigail wasn't your typical 18th century girl. Her father, a Congregationalist minister named William Smith, saw something special in his middle daughter. Instead of sending her to school, he informally educated her at home, opening up his vast personal library. This wasn't just any library. It was filled with books on history, philosophy, politics, and law. This early exposure ignited a lifelong passion for learning and firmly planted the seeds for her unwavering belief in women's education. This wasn't just about reading. It was about understanding the world and having a voice. It was this brilliant, well-read young woman who, in 1764, married a fellow Massachusetts Bay colonist named John Adams. Little did they know. Their partnership would become one of the most influential in American history. From the very beginning, Abigail was more than just a wife. She was an intellectual equal, a trusted confidant, and a fiercely independent thinker. As the American colonies simmered with discontent leading up to the Revolution, Abigail Adams was not one to stay silent. She was an early and passionate advocate for dissolving the political union with Great Britain, firmly believing in the colony's right to independence. Her commitment wasn't just theoretical. She took on one of the first political roles ever held by an American woman. In 1775, she was appointed to the Massachusetts Colony General Court, tasked with questioning women accused of being loyalists. Imagine the courage it took to step into such a public, politically charged role in an era when women were largely relegated to the domestic sphere. Interestingly, despite her outspoken nature, Abigail often began her political commentary with an apology, a nod to the societal expectations of her time, where women were discouraged from expressing strong political opinions. But these apologies were quickly followed by sharp, insightful observations that proved invaluable. Her true genius, however, often shone brightest in her role as her husband's unofficial advisor. When John Adams' official political career began with his appointment to the Massachusetts legislature in 1770, Abigail was right there, supporting him every step of the way. As John became more and more entrenched in the burgeoning American independence movement, Abigail managed their household, raised their children, and held down the fort. In 1774, when John was elected to the Continental Congress, he had to pause his law practice. This meant Abigail had to manage the family's properties, investments, and contracts largely on her own, all while raising their children on a reduced salary. She wasn't just keeping the household running. She was running a small estate, making crucial financial decisions, and facing the uncertainties of wartime with incredible strength. But her contributions went far beyond domestic management. Abigail provided John with much-needed encouragement and counsel during some of the most trying times of the Revolution. She wasn't afraid to voice her opinions, urging John and Congress to consider the dire material conditions of Bostonians, many of whom had lost their homes and jobs during the conflict. More than that, she became John's eyes and ears on the ground. Through detailed letters, she provided him with crucial reports of political events back home, insights that he and his fellow congressmen relied upon. It's even said he quoted one of her letters in a speech to Congress, a testament to her keen political acumen. Their correspondence itself is a treasure trove of history. Abigail and John Adams exchanged over 1,100 letters, covering everything from the nitty-gritty of governing and politics to deeply personal discussions and, yes, women's rights. In 1775, her firm views on American independence were crystal clear when she wrote, Let us separate. They are unworthy to be our brethren. Let us renounce them. Talk about a decisive stand. It's fascinating to learn about her initial impressions of other historical figures too. Abigail first met George Washington shortly after he took command of the Continental Army. Initially, she harbored hesitations about him, particularly because he was an enslaver and a member of the Virginia elite. However, after their meeting, her perspective shifted. She wrote to John that she was struck with General Washington, noting that his appointment was met with universal satisfaction. She further elaborated, describing him as marked by dignity with ease. The gentleman and soldier look agreeably blended in him. She was a discerning judge of character, and her observations were often spot on. Abigail's most enduring legacy, perhaps, comes from her bold advocacy for women's rights, especially impressive given the limited educational opportunities for women at the time. In a series of letters starting in 1776, she eloquently argued for greater consideration for women in the new nation. Famously, after learning that John would serve on the committee to draft the Declaration of Independence, she delivered her iconic plea. Remember the ladies. She urged him to be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. Do not put such unlimited power into the hands of the husbands. Remember, all men would be tyrants if they could. While John Adams didn't explicitly follow his wife's advice in the Declaration, her powerful words highlight her foresight and her belief in a more equitable society. Their dynamic intellectual partnership meant that John's political agenda was undoubtedly shaped by their valuable, ongoing discussions. It reminds us that behind many great men are often even greater women influencing and guiding them. Her journey didn't end with the Revolution. In 1778, John and their son, John Quincy Adams, traveled to France to form an alliance. Abigail, ever the steadfast patriot, remained in the newly formed country. But in 1783, when John was tasked with creating a trade agreement with Great Britain in Paris, Abigail and her daughter, also named Abigail, joined him. As a diplomatic companion, she wasn't just a silent observer. She actively engaged, making connections with important Frenchmen and women, showcasing her natural charm and intellect. Then, in 1785, John was chosen as the United States ambassador to Great Britain. Abigail joined him once more, stepping onto the grand stage of European politics. She socialized with key political figures and even met King George III, a remarkable encounter given their recent history. However, these diplomatic relations weren't always easy. Tensions between the young American couple and prominent British figures made things difficult. As an act of patriotism and protest, Abigail made a personal vow in 1786 not to enter a British court again unless absolutely necessary. Despite this, her time in Europe profoundly shaped her. She became even more involved in public life, expressing her political opinions and feeling a surge of patriotism inspired by her experiences abroad. During this time, she also supplied Thomas Jefferson with detailed reports of events in America and even briefly cared for Jefferson's daughter, Martha, showing her compassionate side amidst political duties. When John Adams returned to America and served as vice president from 1789 to 1797, Abigail continued to be a crucial figure. Her friendship with Martha Washington, the First Lady, deepened during this period. They often socialized, and Abigail greatly admired Martha's commitment to domestic life. A poignant letter from Abigail to Martha in 1799, while Abigail was ill, beautifully illustrates the closeness of their bond. She wrote, "To a heart less benevolent I should apologize for relating my grief, but I know that you, madam, can sympathize with those who mourn as well as rejoice in their felicity. This shows a deep, empathetic connection built on shared experiences." Then came 1797, and John Adams became the second president of the United States. It was an incredibly uncertain time for the young nation, with high tensions with France due to America's signing of the Jay Treaty with Britain. For Abigail, it was also a time of personal challenge. She was in weak health. While John traveled to Philadelphia for his presidential duties, Abigail, ever the capable manager, ran their farm independently. Eventually, she moved to Philadelphia, then the temporary capital, to support her husband. In 1800, a historic moment occurred. The Adams family became the first presidential family to move into the newly designated capital. Washington, D.C. Abigail continued to manage the family's finances, a task she had always excelled at. But her role as First Lady went further than domestic duties. She actively supported John's policies, even sending letters and articles to newspapers for publication, especially crucial during his often unpopular presidency. She remained his most trusted confidant, even urging Congress to declare war on France, an unpopular stance at the time. When John didn't win his bid for a second term, they gracefully returned to their home in Quincy, Massachusetts. Abigail Adams passed away in 1880, leaving behind an indelible mark on American history. Today, she is widely recognized for her unique and important role, particularly in the founding era. She's been honored on a $10 gold coin in the first Spouse coin series by the United States Mint and continues to be the subject of countless articles and books. Her life also embodies the concept of Republican motherhood, a post-revolutionary belief that women had a civic duty to raise patriotic and politically informed children. Though the term was coined after her lifetime, Abigail demonstrated its core values beautifully in her role as a wife and mother. Despite her politically outspoken nature, she believed that a woman's first duty was to her home and family, proving that these roles were not mutually exclusive but could be harmoniously intertwined to serve a greater purpose. Abigail Adams was a woman ahead of her time, a humanitarian, an activist for gender equality and the emancipation of African Americans, a brilliant political mind, and a devoted family woman. Her legacy reminds us that history is often shaped by voices that, while sometimes quieter, are no less powerful. She fought for a world where women's minds were valued, where education was accessible, and where justice prevailed. She truly was an extraordinary woman who helped lay the groundwork for the nation we know today. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the life of Abigail Adams. I hope you feel as inspired by her as I do. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who loves history, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. What aspect of Abigail Adams' life did you find most surprising or inspiring? We love hearing from you. And don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating stories from history. See you in the next video.